This is an annual flea market. There are over 100 vendors here today. If there's one thing I know to be true about going to a flea market, it's that you want to be prepared. We've done the first half and I've actually switched focuses all together. Oh my god, I love it. I absolutely died over this piece. This piece is definitely my favorite of the whole trip. Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is super exciting. I am at a flea market this morning. It is Sunday morning. We're at the Orford Flea Market in New Hampshire. This is an annual flea market. There are over 100 vendors here today and I am on my own. Drew has the kids this morning and so I have the morning to myself to go and shop. I will be sourcing for my antique store that I run online as well as for my own home. We recently purchased our first home in Vermont and we have been slowly but surely renovating and decorating and making the space our home. And so I'll definitely be sourcing for some personal items, but anything that I do source today will most likely end up in my antique shop. If you aren't following my account where I share all kinds of different antique and thrifted finds from here in Vermont, definitely be sure to do that. I will leave a link for the account down below. I did like a little scoping trip. I drove through the whole thing. I actually drove to the wrong place originally. I drove like 20 minutes past where I was supposed to because I had the wrong address, but it looks like it's very filled with lots of people and lots of items. And frankly, I haven't been to a flea market in a long time. I tend to go to the thrift stores most often. Facebook Marketplace here in Vermont has been like a little bit of an adjustment for me. In North Carolina, where I used to live, Facebook Marketplace was like my thing. I always found really good things there. And I still find good stuff on Facebook Marketplace, but just not as much as I find at the thrift store. The thrift stores here are unbelievable and I find the most amazing things there, but I haven't been to like an antique mall or a flea market in a really long time. So I'm very excited to check this out and see. I see someone leaving with something very cool. I don't know if you guys saw her. She had like a lantern that looked very nautical and very cute. I think that what's really cool about the location, you know, being in Vermont and New Hampshire and in the New England area, there's just such a different feel to decor than there was in North Carolina. And I just love the like primitive New England, like country, almost like English cottage style that we've started to curate after being here. And it's just cool to see everything. Everything is very old. A lot of people have a lot of very old antique primitive goods and it's very cool. So I am super excited. I have like all the goods to have a really good day. I brought my wagon, I've got my sun hat, I have cash, I have water. We are good to go. So let's go ahead and see what we can find and fingers crossed for a good trip. If there's one thing I know to be true about going to a flea market, it's that you want to be prepared. When I'm at the thrift store, I usually have my car close by. There's probably an ATM close by. But when you come to a flea market, if you want to have like a really nice, enjoyable experience, bring a wagon, bring a sun hat, bring sunglasses. Like it gets hot here. It's early in the morning. It's like 9 a.m. Early. It's 9 a.m. So it's not as hot, but it's going to get hotter. And if you want to have a good time at the flea market, you got to come prepared. I absolutely love this hat. I got this from, I think from TJ Maxx, and it's like the perfect size and structure that no matter where I put it, even if I like ball it up and put it in my bag, it always poofs back up and it's just like the perfect amount of shade. The other thing that I always do whenever I am at a flea market is keep my money, keep my bag on me. I will not leave it in the wagon because if you're carrying cash with you, you just want to be safe. But I'm so bummed. I got this from the thrift store and it got caught on my door when I was getting in the car and it pulled and it ripped, but it was like the perfect crossbody bag. I even wear it as like a fanny pack. Let's go find some stuff. That's cool. here is $1. We've done the first half of all the booths, and now we're gonna go back down the other side. We're coming up on being done with our time, but more to see. Salt box. That was a very successful trip. I had such a blast at that flea market. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to like flea markets and estate sales and thrifting, I could stay there. If I don't have a reason to leave, I will stay there for hours. I love looking through stuff and just like appreciating everything, touching it and feeling it and looking at it and like talking to the vendors. I just have so much fun, and this morning was no different. It was just like I kept getting lost. I would go into a booth and just like be in there for way too long, and there were so many booths to look through. I don't think I hit all of them. I always start off just a lack of consideration for time, almost, that I have all the time in the world, because when you get there I'm like, oh, I've got 3-4 hours before I need to head back home, and then all of a sudden it's been 2 hours and I haven't even made it like halfway through all of the booths. So I think I hit most of them, but definitely towards the end I started just like going to the ones that looked like they had things that I would be interested in. So still, I have such an amazing haul in my car. I cannot wait to get home and show you guys the things that I picked up. There were really good prices on some things. A lot of stuff there was also very, very expensive. So I left some things behind that I would have loved to have taken home, but that's kind of what you get whenever you go to like a flea market or an antique mall, or like if you're shopping online on like an antique or a thrifting Instagram account. I totally get it, because you have to make a profit when you're selling something. Like charges my battery to just go and have like a morning to myself to be creative and just like explore and just take my time. I know if you have young kids, you know that you just are always on like a ticking time bomb situation, where if you take your kids with you anywhere, like you only have a little bit of time before someone is like ready to go, gonna have a meltdown, needs a snack, needs to go potty. Like there's always something that you kind of have to worry about, and so it's nice to just go and like not worry about anything. I am on my way home, and whenever I get back I will give you guys a little haul of everything that I got in my wagon. It's so funny, I got so many compliments basically saying like what a good idea to bring my wagon with me, and I had a hat on and people were like, oh, you're smart. And I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, I think these are the two basic pieces of knowledge. Like if you're going to a flea market out in the sun in the middle of summer, that you would wear a hat, or like I don't know. It was just funny. I got so many comments about the wagon and about my sun hat. So like I said before this whole video started, those are like my two biggest tips. Bring a wagon, bring a sun hat, and keep your money on your person. Those are like my main 3 tips when going to a flea market. I'll leave a link for the wagon that I use. I got it on Amazon. We actually got it for a beach trip a couple of years ago, and we've used it so much more for shopping than we have for like taking our kids anywhere. So I will leave a link for you in the description box if you want to look for a wagon for your flea market adventures. I have made it back home and I am upstairs in my office space. This is where I house all of my inventory, as you can see, for my online antique store. This is like a new development for me. I used to run an antique store back when the pandemic started. As soon as the pandemic started, I had just opened my like online business, and I was doing that, and I was doing birth work, and I was like creating content online that was really birth focused. And I ended up putting my store kind of on pause because I got pregnant, and I was like trying to do both things at once, and it just felt like too much at the time. And I was like trying to decide between the two things, and at the time I was just focused more on birth work. I also didn't really have the space to do what I wanted to do with my online store. I felt really restricted by like my house and like what we were able to actually have. So whenever we moved into this house, we have so much more space here that I was really inspired to open my store again. And I've actually kind of switched focuses all together, and I'm focusing almost entirely on my online store and creating content that is more focused around decor and thrifting and antiquing and like DIY projects and renovating and just like home living in general. I still really love the birth space, and I think that I'll return to the birth space, but while I have young children, it's so much more draining to be involved in that process than I expected it to. It's like emotionally and energetically just really, really challenging to like give yourself, because I feel like when you're in the birth space, you have to be able to give yourself to people, and I just feel like I cannot give myself like emotionally and energetically to other people in that way, because my children are so like, they demand so much of that energy. And I just found that it was not only not recharging to me, but it was like twice as draining as it used to be. Whereas something like this, I just find really inspiring. I definitely got sunburn. Oh, that's so bad. So anyway, all of that is being housed here, and this is kind of like my safe haven. I love it in here. This is like my favorite room in the house. And I wanted to sit down and show you everything that I found today. You can already see one of the finds. So like I said before, some of these finds are for our house and for like my personal decor, and then other things are going to be live in my antique store. So if there's anything that you see that you might be interested in, it might be available online. I'll probably tell you as I show you what things will be available and what things I'm keeping. This is one of the items that I got for our personal use. I am really enjoying adding color back into my decor. I have been very, I don't know, just like there's so many influencers and designers, mostly influencers honestly, online, who just share so much stuff that is like all neutral, all beige, all cream, and I love that look. It's so like calming and appealing, and I kind of fell into wanting my house to look like that, even though it's not really me. I do love it. Like it does bring me a sense of like calmness and peace. But I'm really trying to challenge myself to like step out of that, because it doesn't feel exactly me. Like it doesn't feel quite authentically my style. And so I've been trying to expand my color palette more and really lean into the colors that are alluring to me and that I'm drawn to, and just like explore that a little bit. And so I've been finding that I'm really drawn to this tone of red, like almost like a barn red. It's showing very cherry on camera, but it's much deeper in person. And I've been drawn to like this color, to like a pale, really pale blue, and like a dark green, and it's almost like these primary colors, like a yellow that's in the same kind of like tone. And so I'm trying to lean into that in ways that are like accessories, not trying to like paint my house that color or buy really large pieces of furniture that are that color, but just to have some accents around the house that bring a little bit of contrast and a little bit of dimension to the spaces that aren't just like neutral. We have so much wood in our house that I'm trying to expand that. So I was really drawn to this piece. I thought it was so cute. I always love this like turned wood spindle type leg, and it's actually like a wicker seat and it's been painted and it has that like chippy look to it. I don't generally go for like the chippy look, but there was something about this piece that I just really liked, and I got it for a steal. It was only 10 bucks. So I really like the spindles all the way through. And yeah, I was very, very excited about that one. And I feel like pieces like this are so nice to have around the house, like in different places where you can like stack books onto for decor. If you don't have young kids, you can put decor on them. Or in my situation, because I have young kids, we always need stools. They're always climbing up on stuff and standing on things and like sitting down to put their shoes on and like getting their coats on in the winter and stuff. So having little stools around is like very, very helpful. I have them all over the house. But yeah, this one was marked at 15 and she gave it to me for 10. This is at the same vendor. I got a couple of different window treatments. All of these are by a brand called Park Designs, and I think they actually still make products now, but their vintage products are so beautiful and they make really quality window treatments. These are probably my favorite of the set because they are almost like tweed. They're really, really stunning and very high quality and very heavy. And I feel like when I am looking to buy things for my home, I want stuff that's heavy and high quality, and it just makes it feel more luxe expensive, you know? So that was a set of 2. And then there was a single one with this pattern on it, which I love so much. It's so pretty. And this one came with 2 little tie backs too to tie the curtain up. And I think this one might be longer. These are all 100% cotton. Yeah, these ones are longer. So these are actually a full curtain. And sometimes when I buy stuff like this, I actually will use the fabric for something else, especially if I have one curtain panel and I don't have a whole set. Love this fabric so much. I feel like it would make a really beautiful tablecloth or a set of napkins or a cushion cover for a pillow, or even like a pleated lampshade. I feel like there are a lot of options for that print, and it's not as thin. So like this, like I mentioned earlier, is kind of like a tweed. You can see it's lined with a really thick inner fabric material, whereas this one's quite thin. It's much more like flowy. So I think that would make a really beautiful set of linen feeling napkins. They're cotton, but you know what I mean. Then these are so pretty. I love these so much. This is a set of 2, and they are the full length, like the ones that I just showed you. These are stunning. I love this color. It's like a mossy, it's showing a little more yellow on camera. This is like a mossy, like a true moss and ivory combo, and it is so beautiful. I love this set so much. If I had a place to put these, I would. I'm thinking about maybe using them downstairs in my Airbnb. If you don't know, we have like an in-law guest suite that I renovated to be an Airbnb property. And so we rent that out, and I think these would look really beautiful in that bedroom, and the bedroom doesn't have window treatments. So I'm thinking about that, but if not, they'll probably be available on my shop. I also picked up this valance, which I love. So beautiful. The colors are just amazing. The pinks and the cream, and it's like I think it's navy blue, but it might even be black. And again, that high quality lined back. And I really like this one because of the shape. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it all together. I feel like this would be really beautiful in the bathroom or over the window in our kitchen. I'm not sure where yet, but I really love that one. I also picked up a couple of brass pieces from this shop. These are little brass picture stands, or you can set a plate in the stand as well. I really love having these in my house, not only to display like I said, like plates or frames or whatever. I really like having them for my shop to display merchandise and to take like merchandise photos. So I got 2 of these little ones, and then I got 2 larger ones. So 4 in total, and I love them. They're super, super heavy. So pick those up. And then I also got more brass from this shop. I just love these. These are all the same. They are these hooks that have, I thought that they were eagles. They are marked on the back. It says ball and ball, because these are also very, very heavy. All the brass is like really nice. I don't know much about the marking, ball and ball, and then it says R51. So I'll be curious to do a little bit of research on that to see if that is an eagle, or do you guys think that's an eagle, or do you think that's a vulture? Leave me a comment and let me know, because looks vulture-y, which like I'm cool with, but I definitely thought they were eagles. The wings look like eagle wings. And I feel like when it comes to brass stuff, like antique brass stuff, it's often an eagle. I don't know that I've ever seen a vulture. But those wings look eagle-y, but the head looks vulture-y. We'll find out. I'll look it up. Then I ran into another booth that I saw on my way out, and I was like, wait a minute, let me stop in there. You know when you get that tingly sensation? Like I passed all these booths, but I was just like, there's something about that area that like called my energy, and I followed it, and I was so excited to go in there and see these. She had a bunch of other stuff that I wasn't interested in, and then she said that these were her mom's, and that her mom was like, you should take these and sell them because I'm not using them, and I love them. I am always on the hunt for small art or small frames. I tend to find them separately. Rarely do I find like a small frame that I like with a piece of art in it that I like. So I'm always keeping my eye out for small frames that I really like. And look at how beautiful these are in comparison to my head. These are small pieces of art, and each one, so she gave me, I got these two, and then they are kind of a set, like they all kind of go with each other. I really love these two. I think these ones are my favorite. They're almost the same size, but slightly different. And I love staggering art like this. Like if you have two pieces to put on a wall together and putting like, you know, one that's slightly smaller or larger next to it. So that set is really, really beautiful. And then I also picked up this little one, which is so pretty as well. And again, it's just so clean and simple when it comes to framing small pieces of art, especially if it's something intricate or like a landscape or an oil piece. I want something small but beautiful, and these are just perfect. Like look around the rim, they have all of this really beautiful etching and embossing around the side, and I just love them. And then this is the last one, which again, just really clean, simple, yet sophisticated and very like high quality pieces that look, oh, they're so pretty. And I got all of those for $3. I was so excited. I love them. I went to another one. These are so cool. I'll show you the art, because actually this was kind of a frame heavy. I found a lot of frames that I really enjoyed. This one is so cute. It's a picture of a baby, and I don't know why, I just love the size of like the scale of this. Like I said, so like this was that original one, so it's even a little bit smaller, but I just am really enjoying small pieces of art like this. And this one is so cool. It's not an original by any means. It's on that paper that makes it look kind of like it was actually painted, but it's just textured paper. But I just think that is the most precious thing ever. I think that would be so cute in a nursery or in a little kid's room. The last piece of art that I got is this really cute little gold frame. It has really pretty embellishments on the corners right here. I kind of like the picture, but I actually bought it mostly for the frame. This one, oh my gosh. I think this might be my favorite one because I just love it. And I've been very into pieces that have like crystal work hanging on it, and I'm obsessed with this one. It has this gorgeous marble base and this really beautiful brass scene. I just cannot get over this. I think it's so pretty, and it has all of this intricate work around the top, and I am just in love with this candle holder. Oh my god, I love it. I can't decide if this is one that I'm gonna list or keep, because I do want to list it because it's so beautiful and I want to like send it on to somebody else to enjoy. But I also think that I might, like, I feel like a lot of times when I get stuff like this, I like to enjoy it for a little bit and then send it on to have its life somewhere else, you know? Like, I really enjoy change. There aren't many items that I keep forever that I'm like, oh no, I would never sell that. And I feel like maybe this is one of those where I would want to enjoy it for a little bit and then maybe pass it on whenever its time here has come to an end, because I really, really love this whole scene. I just think it's so beautiful and would be really beautiful on the mantle or on my vanity, or just like, yeah, I feel like the mantle downstairs with like the fire going in the middle of fall and winter. Oh, I just love it. And I got this for an absolute steal. It was $10, which sometimes people just don't know what they have. Like there was this one person who was selling a quilt, a hand-stitched quilt, and it was stunning. And I almost bought it. It wasn't exactly the colorway that like I personally would list in my shop, but it was really beautiful still. And I asked him how much it was, and he told me $40. And I was like, I kind of was like, you know, visibly like, wow, okay. And he told me that he had a lady come through who considered herself like a quilt expert, and she said that, you know, he could easily make $200 on that. And I was like, easily 200. That was actually the first thing that I bought whenever I walked in, because it was at one of the first booths that I found. So that is the one of the candlesticks that I got. I will show you, I got 2 candlesticks. I also picked up this really beautiful brass candelabra. This one in particular, I just love a candelabra moment. I think these are so classic and timeless and just beautiful in any kind of space. Really, there are so many different interiors that I feel like these complement, and I was really excited to find one that was in this good of shape and just this beautiful. And then I also picked up this really beautiful pewter, actually it might be sterling, Trinket Box. I really liked this one because it has this black velvet lining. I often find them with red or yellow, but I really loved how moody. It's actually, I think, more of a navy blue now that I'm inside. It looks much more navy than it did whenever I looked at it under the tent. This is a really deep, deep navy blue, almost black, and I just love how moody this little Trinket Box is, and I love pieces like that. I also picked up this really beautiful ornament. I've been curating a lot of blue and white ornaments for Christmas this year, and I came across this one, and I just think it is so gorgeous, and it has this really beautiful blue tassel, and I was very, very excited to pick up that little guy. And then I also got this stunning brass vessel. I love vessels like these, particularly the ones that have glass on the inside, because you can use this for so many things. Often whenever I get brass vessels, they're pretty limited, just because for me, I would prefer, if I'm using something in my kitchen, for it to be glass so that I can wash it. I do use brass often for like sponges or planters, like perishable items like butter or salt or herb mixes. You can put directly into glass, and I would be way more comfortable with that. So I thought that this was just precious, and I love the inlay on top. That is so beautiful, and I am a huge fan of the patina on this. I would never polish this to make it look different. I love the patina on brass and copper, so I was very excited to find that one. And then I also picked up this little table lighter. It is brass and has a really beautiful detail all the way around. I love using these as pieces of decor for the coffee table or on a bookshelf or even in the kitchen, anywhere that you want to add a little different element, like especially if you want a different texture, like with the brass. I just think that these are so cute. Even if they don't work, they add a really nice little just moment of intrigue. So I was very excited to find that little piece. And these two I love so much. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do with them just yet, but these are antique tin sconces, and I am obsessed with the scallop trimming. The scalloping is so stinking cute, and I just could not resist these. But they definitely, I assume, need to be rewired. I don't know that for sure. They didn't say anything. It doesn't say if they work. I'm sure most of the vendors probably don't even know if their stuff like this works, but it's a pretty simple layout. If you can tell, these just slide right through here, and then they come right out the back. And so I'm thinking I might have these rewired to be plug-in sconces, or I could rewire them to be hardwire sconces, or I could take them out altogether and make them candle sconces. But I just thought the scalloping was so beautiful, so I had to take those home. Oh, there are a couple more that I just love. I'll start with these. I am a sucker for wooden spoons, and this was a set of antique wooden spoons together, and I just love these. There's something about antique spoons that just gets me every single time. I truly, every time I'm at the thrift store, I pick them up. Every time I'm at an antique store or a flea market, look at that. They just have so much beauty to them, and I love them. Mostly as decor, not usually for use, though I do have a couple that I have like deep cleaned for use. But look how big this one is. I just love them. They even smell good. I love the smell of old stuff. Now, this is such a good find. Got all of these antique rolling pins. So happy that I got them. They have the most beautiful, intricate details in the handles and just beautiful shapes that I am obsessed with them. These will look so cute in a crock. If you had all of them together, could you imagine all of these? Look at this, sticking out of a crock together. They will probably all most likely be available in the shop. I am considering doing a crock with all of them in my kitchen. Like I said, kind of enjoying them for a bit and then sending them on to live the rest of their lives somewhere else. I just think details like that in a kitchen are so timeless and classic and just beautiful, and they really, you know, are functional and beautiful at the same time. Which brings me to my next find, which I am just in love with. I absolutely died over this piece. I think it is so stunning. It is super well made. The construction of it is so nice. And look at the detail and the shape of this tray. I mean, are you kidding me? I am obsessed with toile, and this is such a beautiful scene. I am in love with the colorway of this tray as well. It is a really beautiful, like very vintage white, very antiqued ivory almost, but still very white, with a really beautiful olive hue as well as some nice browns kind of woven within it, and it's just stunning. I am in love with this tray. You can see a little bit more of the scenery on the back. Look at that little lamb and all of the greenery. It's just beautiful. And a piece like this, like truly, I feel like it's sometimes hard to be surprised by pieces at times when you like see some of the same stuff over and over again. Like even antiques, like you still see similar antiques often, and I'm just excited when I find pieces that I haven't seen before that are, you know, in the same family that I really enjoy. Like toile is something that I see all the time and I love, but I've just never seen this colorway in this kind of tray. So I love that piece. This piece is definitely my favorite of the whole trip. I have been looking for one of these for so long, and I was just enamored. I was so excited to find this. I found a booth that I just loved. Every single item in their booth, I was just like, it felt like it was a booth that I picked out. Like everything in there was something I would have purchased, and they just had really like spot on taste for what I like. Their prices, however, were just, I mean, their stuff was fair. Their stuff was not overpriced. It's just I'm way cheap, and a lot of their stuff I would have loved to have taken home, and it was just out of my budget. But I did go back for this. So I looked through their tent and I saw this and audibly gasped whenever I saw it. And I had done like my whole rounds and I was getting ready to go home, and I was like, let me just go back really quick and see like if they'll make a deal with me. And I went back and they were gone. They had packed up early and they were getting all their stuff, all their whole stuff was all packed up and gone, and their dog was still there. And I was like, well, if the dog is here, they're here. And they came back out and I was like, hi, you know, I was here earlier. Do you guys still have that bell? Did you have a brass bell here? And they were like, yeah, we do, but like, I don't think we can get to it. You know, I have no idea where I packed it. Let me look. And they went and looked, and it was like right on top, and they made me somewhat of a deal. It is this beautiful brass bell that came off of a ship. So this is an authentic ship bell, and it has the horseshoe that attaches to the wall, and the patina on the brass I just love. He mentioned something about shining it up to make it look really beautiful, and I was like, no way. The patina is what makes it everything. And what is so cool about this bell, it's not like a ding-a-ling bell. My kids are sleeping, but I feel like it's worth it so you can hear the bell. Hold on. So when you pull it, it sounds like this. And I'm just obsessed. I'm so happy I went back and got this. This is definitely the thing that I spent the most money on. Besides what I got, I did get Drew something for his birthday that I spent more money on, but this is the only item that I feel like I was like, okay, I'm gonna splurge and I'm gonna get it, even though it feels more expensive than like I would want to pay for it. But I understand why it's that price, and I will pay for it because I want it. And I think it's so beautiful. And I have been wanting to get a bell for our kitchen for so long. And this is like an heirloom piece. Like I will give this to my children, one of them, and hopefully they will appreciate it and want to continue, you know, passing things down like that. So that one I feel really, really good about. And they had a sticker price for that bell at $65. And they ended up giving it to me for $55. So, and they had the cutest Newfoundland dog, and I was just obsessed with him. So this is another great find. I love these types of candle holders. I have one of these in my living room, and it's just beautiful. It has the twisted iron in the middle. It's wrought iron. You can tell it's super, super heavy, and it's just beautiful to have taper candles hanging from your ceiling for a little candelabra moment, or sorry, chandelier moment from the ceiling. And I just love the intrigue that this adds to a space, especially if you're going for something that's like a little primitive. I think that adds such a nice touch. And then I got two more things that are not home decor related, but they are really beautiful, and I'll show you. This one is so cute. I got both of these from the same vendor. Drew's birthday is really soon, so I wanted to get him a birthday present. And at the vendor that I was shopping for him at, I found this tiny crew neck sweater for the kids. I just thought it was so stinking cute, and just the right size for Wilder right now, and then eventually Indy and any kids in the future. And I just think it is so cute. And I got it for $10. So I got that for the kids. And then for Drew, for his birthday, I got him this coat that I think is so beautiful. This is such a Drew coat. So this is vintage Madewell, and it has these big square pockets on the front, and he's been very into kind of like that workwear look that has like the big square pockets. And it has a really beautiful corduroy collar, and then it's lined with this like blanket material that is just stunning. And this guy had the coolest stuff. I would have bought everything from his booth. He had really, really cool clothes. And so I got that piece for Drew for his birthday. But that is everything. That is my haul today, you guys. I am so happy that you came and hung out with me and went antique shopping with me. That was such a fun day, and I really, really am happy with the haul that I walked away with. If you guys enjoyed coming along with me in antique shopping, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can see future videos of mine, and give this video a thumbs up. And if there are any pieces, like I said earlier, that you're interested in, if you're interested in checking them out, be sure to check out my antique store online, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.